Our next presenters have raised a monumental amount of money in their bid to make life a little bit easier for those already struggling with health. Their successful campaign over 2012 and 2013 has touched thousands of lives already. Let's hear it for the Timaru District's Aoraki Foundation.
Good afternoon, and we're doing well, team. Last session for the day, so good effort. Hey, as we know, vision without action is just a daydream, and action without vision is a nightmare. There's only one nightmare in the Timaru District, and that's me, Damon Odie,
right.
Mayor of the Timaru District. I'm proud to be here supporting the Aoraki Foundation because their vision in our community and the action that they rally from numerous volunteers creates a benefit to our district that you just can't quantify. So I'm privileged to introduce Ron Luxton, who is a trustee for the Aoraki Foundation and who is also the chairman of the MRI Fundraising Committee. And beside him we have Stacey Scott, who is the executive officer of the Aoraki Foundation and also project the MRI campaign. So well done, team.
Thank you, Mayor Damon. Today I want to tell you a story. It's the story about a small provincial region banding together to provide a service and a facility to their community that was never going to be viable in any other way but that they did it themselves. The facility and the service that I'm talking about is an MRI scanner machine. The cost, some $2.8 million. So why did we need a scanner? Well, the population of Aoraki, South Canterbury, was insufficient for the local district health board to justify providing a MRI scanner. That meant that every MRI scan had to be provided in Christchurch. From Timaru, that was 2 or 3 hours drive, and from some of the more distant parts of our region, such as Twizel, it meant a 4 or 5 hour drive. The District Health Board planned for around 560 scans each year, but believed that about double that could be beneficial to patients in the region. And I guess the why could be summed up in that Maori proverb which says, He aha te mea nui, o tēnei ao, hei tangata, hei tangata, hei tangata. What is the greatest treasure of this world? It is people, it is people, it is people. Having an MRI scanner located in Timaru would mean no more lengthy trips to Christchurch, and for many of our elderly residents, this often meant 1 or 2 nights away from home. Having an MRI scanner would also help in the task of attracting and retaining skilled and experienced clinicians in our provincial hospital. Having an MRI scanner would result in quicker, sooner and more convenient diagnosis. The initial fundraising target was $1.6 million for the scanner, $800,000 for the facility in which to house it, and $200,000 for staff training, a total of $2.6 million. A dedicated, committed, enthusiastic volunteer committee was formed using the facilities of Aoraki Foundation. And with the help of our project manager, the glamorous, the delightful, the dedicated, the wonderful Stacey Scott, she's here to provide the glamour, I have to say, we launched the appeal. The community went nuts. Lions clubs with Rotary clubs organised 400 people for a phone-a-thon, and other groups in the community fell in behind, over 4,000 people contributing to the overall success. After 6 months, we added another $200,000 to the target to provide for a specialist anaesthetic machine. And then we added another $50,000 just for good measure for the furniture and fit-out of the facility. We closed the appeal early in just 10 months, having raised $3.1 million. From the day of the fundraising launch, to raise the funds, to build the building, to purchase and install the MRI, to train the staff and have the first patient through was under 18 months, unheard of in the public health system. The ownership of the MRI scanner is held in trust for the people of South Canterbury. It can never be taken away from the people of the Aoraki region. Is the scanner making a difference? Absolutely. No longer do patients, the sick, the worried, the elderly, the young have to make long and lengthy journeys and often overnight stays to Christchurch. Clinicians can schedule MRI scans quicker and more conveniently. Patients are no longer required to take days off work to obtain an MRI scan, and the time taken can be measured in just a few hours rather than days. The number of MRI scans completed annually at Timaru Hospital is not just doubled, as we had thought it would, but it has quadrupled. And this surely shows the value of this community project in a dramatic way. What was the impact on the community? How do we calculate its benefits? Well, around 2,600 round trips to Christchurch at 300 kilometres each are no longer necessary. Days off work are no longer required. Nights away in another city are now not needed. And my guess would be a saving to the people of South Canterbury of between $600,000 and $1 million annually at least. This is an absolutely amazing, outstanding result. And radiology staff tell me that not one single day goes past without at least one patient saying, I helped make the scanner a reality. Aoraki Foundation for Aoraki, for good forever. Thank you.
St Vianney's Timaru Trust was very proud to be a lead donor and a seed donor for the MRI project here in South Canterbury.
It was an item on the radio news in Timaru that they had hoped to get a scanner.
Our donation of $500,000, we saw that as one way of really kick-starting the whole process.
I think Aoraki took up the challenge, didn't they? And I said to the person who advises on my financial things, this is something we must do.
We were looking again for very much a community project, a community charity that should get this money. We spent 2.5, 3 years searching for something that we could give this money to that would benefit the community, both rural and urban.
As an orthopaedic surgeon, MRI is really important. It's a key part of our practice, and we send lots of patients for MRI scans. And before we had our MRI scanner here, I was having to send 10 or more patients every week up the road to Christchurch. Particularly, it's a big problem for patients who are really ill and who are in hospital.
At the end of the matter was the MRI appeal was floated, and we looked at it, and as the directors of the company and the then trust fund said, this could be an ideal project.
It doesn't matter whether you're old or young, male or female, anyone who really required that service was able to get it here in South Canterbury.
And it has proved for me to be wonderful. I guess there are lots of people who would be very uncomfortable travelling by ambulance and the cost of going to Christchurch, and that if an accident case came in and they suspected other injuries, immediately there they could use it.
The community just totally got behind what we were doing, and everyone was hugely supportive.
And the speed at which those funds grew, it was most reassuring, and it was going to come, all the millions that it was going to cost just seemed immaterial because there it was.
From the Aoraki Foundation's perspective, we are absolutely thrilled to have been involved with the MRI campaign and facilitated the fundraising. And the one thing that really came out of it was the heart of the people of South Canterbury. And when I say heart, I mean a heart that is fair pumping. The generosity, the willingness to be involved, and just the overall enthusiasm for the campaign, for an asset that is the people of South Canterbury and will continue to be the people of South Canterbury for years to come.